My mother was in care, and I was in care, and I didn't want my son to be in care as well. And so I fought as hard as I could to make sure and utilize these prevention services so that we didn't experience that same generational cycle that I experienced. This place is called the Bike Union, and what it means to me is a community of support built around some individuals who have experienced some of the greatest adversity within the community.
The Bike Union Mentoring Project is a nonprofit social enterprise based here in Omaha, Nebraska. We've been open to the public here in our retail space for 4 years now. We serve former wards of the state, people who are either aging out of foster care or have had a touch point with foster care at some point in their lives. And we do workforce and professional development with those folks. I think it shows folks that there's a team of people who are in their corner who aren't going anywhere.
Nebraskans are engaged in their communities, in their schools, they're caring, they're humble, they're hardworking, and there really is something different about Nebraska, that it's about how we work together to solve problems.
Bring Up Nebraska is a community-based prevention program that focuses on keeping as many kids in safe and loving families as possible. They have put the focus where it needs to be, which is on local communities, local solutions, getting the citizens involved in helping provide solutions for other families within their communities and being that safety net.
For many years, our state was only investing into after crisis or when crises were occurring. And we were founded as an organization and as this Bring Up in Nebraska initiative to say, enough's enough of that. We need to invest earlier. We need to invest differently. We need to invest in prevention so that children do not end up in the child welfare system, that children are not separated from their families, so that children have the most conducive environments to thrive.
Walter, do you know how many people actually registered?
The goal of Bring Up Nebraska is really to pull together all the different resources in the community. So obviously the state plays a role in that, but so does the county, but so do nonprofits, churches, businesses, educators, mental health care professionals. All these different resources within the community are really trying to be coordinated.
So right now, out of our number of counties, 94 counties in Nebraska, we have 50 counties covered with community collaboratives.
What Bring Up Nebraska does is looks to be that safety net, looks to help solve those small problems before they snowball into the crisis that throw the family into turmoil. The easiest example I can give is a family who has a hard time paying its bills. And all of a sudden they aren't paying their utility bills, their electricity is cut off, and that's grounds for having a kid removed. There are other ways of handling this. What if instead we help that family pay its bills and then get the Department of Labor, Department of Economic Development, the local community together and help that parent get a better job to help solve those problems long term. And that's what Bring Up Nebraska does.
Prevention is very difficult to measure. It's very difficult to measure something that doesn't happen.
If we're talking about the whole state, and we did want to talk about the whole state.
With the community opportunity map, we have access to some data indicators that we think over time we might be able to see some success in our initiative. Nebraska actually took the national community opportunity map and added some Nebraska-specific indicators. So as we've been working with communities throughout the years, part of that process is to look at the community level data to help identify what are this community's strengths and what are their needs.
Well, I think the opportunity map will really help guide the families that we really need to serve, the potential of those families that need to be served, That data is going to also show us how successful we are with serving those families in the community. One of the things that the map is allowing us to do, along with Family First, is to really think about what are the possible strategies that continue to empower families and to look at them from a strength-based approach. We've not had that in the history of child welfare for many years, and the opportunity map is going to help us drive that kind of strategy.
We're a community bank at Pinnacle Bank, and these are our neighbors, and these are the people that we see every day that we want to help. Sometimes people have issues, and maybe they've had a credit issue in the past, or their situation has not allowed them to pay all their bills on time. Through some of our partnerships, we've been able to work through some of those situations. So, for instance, now we've got an auto loan to a gentleman, single dad, working a couple jobs and had the opportunity to go full-time with one job, but transportation was an issue for him. In order for him to make this move in his career, he needed to get a car. And so, with a little financial education and some help from the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, we were able to get him in an affordable auto loan for him. He was able to make the move to his new career, and now he's able to spend more time with his daughter, and his quality of life is just improved because of something simple like a car.
One of the things that we do in the Children's Justice Clinic, priority one, is making sure that child's voice is heard when they go into the courtroom. And one of the ways that we can have that child's voice being heard is to ensure that child is physically present in the courtroom and that they're ready to appear. When children come to court, it makes these cases real. But there are people present in the courtroom who never meet those children, and they become a piece of paper. So I think it does bring this level of empathy and understanding. Bring Up Nebraska is one of many examples where Nebraska is recognizing the needs of our children and families in Nebraska that need services and help, but don't always need court involvement.
Bring Up Nebraska's successes are in the community stories or in the family stories. When you hear that a family was not afraid to ask for help, or when a family was able to achieve a goal that they designed themselves, and you look at the child welfare data or the high school graduation data, or you look at other indicators of community well-being, we can see that changes are going in the positive direction.
I would love it to be in every community in Nebraska and every community in the United States. I think that focusing on local communities, focusing on prevention, focusing on data-driven solutions is really the way we're going to keep as many families together as possible and keep these kids in loving, safe homes.
So I work at the Department of Health and Human Services, and I just got this job in August. I was really excited when I got the call because this opportunity has given me the chance to work with directly with community organizations all across Omaha. We're going to change the future, and we're going to make some things happen so that this doesn't become a generational cycle, and my son doesn't have to experience this. He's so silly, and he's so great, and he's honestly, like, he's my best friend. He reminds me of what's important, and he gives me that childhood that I missed out on.